Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on the enumerate and zip built-in functions. In this lecture we'll see those two functions and how we can use them. So let's start with the enumerate function. We use the enumerate function to iterate over items in a list. And by iterating over these items, the enumerate function allows us to add indexes for each of the items in our list, for instance. Let's see an example. Let's say we have a list. Let's save it in a variable list1. Let's say it has the following items A, B, C, and D. So what we can do is, so if I call my list1 object, we have a list containing these items. We can also say for x in list1 print x. So that will print out all the items one by one. Now let's see how we can use the enumerate function to print out these items and include an index in front of them. So we can say for x and let's say y in, this is where we call the enumerate function, enumerate, and then we pass our list object, list1 in this case, and then we simply print x and y. So here, calling the enumerate function, we'll iterate over these items and then add an index in front of them. So if we run this, we get 0a, 1b, 2c, 3d, right? It has added those indexes in front. If we want a tuple for our result, we can simply enclose these two variables x and y in parentheses, and when we print them we can enclose them like that and run it. In this case we get a tuple, right? Index and then our item, index our item. So this is a simple example of an enumerate, the enumerate function. Let's look at some more examples of how we can use the enumerate function. So here, if I call the enumerate method or function on our list1 object, what do you think we'll get? If I simply say enumerate and then pass our list1 object. So this will give us an enumerate object. Okay, so enumerate and then memory in location. So if we try to find out the type of this, we see that it's an enumerate object. And we can take this enumerate object and convert it to a list by casting it into a list. So we can say list, and then we have our enumerate, and then pass our list1 object. So that will give us a list of our item indexed. So our items are A, B, C, D, and we have a tuple of each one of the items together with its index. Index 0 we have A, index 1 B, 2 C, 3 D. Great. Now that we have seen the enumerate function, let's see the zip function. Okay, similar to the enumerate function, we use the zip function to iterate over, for instance, lists, but in case of the zip function, we can iterate over two lists. Let's see how we can do that. So let's start by creating two lists. Let's say list 1 contains the elements A, B, C, and D. And let's say list 2 has the elements AA, BB, CC, and DD. So by using this function, we can iterate over these two lists at the same time in parallel. So what we can say is, let's say for X and Y in, and then we'll call our zip function and then pass our two lists. So list 1, list 2. We can simply print X and Y. So run it. In this case, we have the result from the first element from our list 1 will be zipped with the first element from our list 2, the second element from the first list, and then we have the second element from the second list. That's what we have. So that's how we can use the zip function to iterate over two lists. We can also include this in parentheses and then get a tuple. So first item in the first list, first item in the second list, and so on. Let's look at one more example. Let's say I have a list containing fruits, orange, let's say strawberry, and kiwi, for instance. And then let's say we have another list containing colors for those fruits. Let's say orange is yellow, for strawberry let's say red, and for kiwi let's use green. So what we can do is we can use the zip function to iterate over these two lists in parallel. So we can say for fruit and then color in zip, then we'll pass those two lists, fruits, the colors. So this is plural, this is singular. That's to make sure this is to be as descriptive as possible, but you can use variables X and Y or anything, I and J and so on, A and B, whatever you like. So for fruit color in zip, we pass our two lists, fruit and colors. You can say print fruit and then color. So if we run it, we get orange, then yellow, strawberry red, kiwi green. This is one example. Another example is we can say for fruit color in zip, print, let's say the color of fruit is, and then color. If we do that, we get the color of orange is yellow, the color of strawberry is red, and the color of kiwi is green. We can also do that, right? So these are some examples of the zip function, and in the next lecture we'll continue our discussion on the zip and enumerate functions. Thank you everyone.